everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess and today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons for doing IVF abroad. You can head over to my Instagram, Finding Our Rainbow with IVF, for lots more information about our journey. I documented things in live time through highlights, reels, posts, and I'm still keeping up to date with my current pregnancy now, so feel free to go and check me out over there. Okay, so let's start with the pros to doing IVF abroad. So the first one, which was probably the biggest deciding factor for us, is that it's a lot cheaper in comparison to doing private in the UK. Obviously the UK do offer NHS funding, but it depends if you're eligible. It depends on your own individual circumstance. So when we were looking at doing private IVF, we looked at the UK and we looked at abroad, and even with all the costs of actually going abroad involved, particularly at the time we travelled through a pandemic and we had to take 3 different COVID tests, so including that and the flights, the accommodation, spending money, it was still cheaper to do IVF abroad. So that is pro number 1. Okay, so the second pro to doing IVF abroad, you can choose anywhere that you want to go. It can be like a mini vacation, and if it's somewhere that you fancy going anyway, well, if you deduct the accommodation and everything off the price, then you're only paying for the cost of IVF, which is just, it is a slither, is a fraction of the price of what you would pay in the UK anyway. So if you fancied, going to Greece or going to the Czech Republic or going to Spain, wherever it is that you are thinking of going abroad, just see it almost as you are having a vacation out there. You usually do have to spend 7 to 10 days out where you are going. So yeah, it's like a mini vacation as well. On top of that, with it being like a mini vacation, success rates have been proven to be higher because you are more relaxed, because you are somewhere different, and if you are treating it like a little bit of a holiday, so that's an extra bonus too. So pro number 3 for doing IVF abroad is generally success rates are better. Now, I know it's relative and it depends on your age and your BMI and your individual circumstances and things like that. However, compared to the UK, generally success rates are higher abroad, depending on which clinic you choose. So make sure you do your research. Some of the reason for that is that they include ICSI as standard abroad, whereas in the UK, you usually only get just a standard IVF procedure instead of ICSI. And obviously, ICSI does increase your chances of IVF working because it fertilizes the egg for you instead of hoping that the egg and sperm will meet in the petri dish. So yes, it is better success rates and you get more within the price. The 4th pro to going abroad for IVF is that generally, compared to lots of you that I've spoken to who have done IVF in the UK, whether that being on the NHS or private, is that clinics abroad generally go above and beyond. They don't just do a sample kind of flat out package for you. They actually look at your individual circumstances and tailor it to you, and just make you feel a lot more confident in the process, really. And the final pro to doing IVF abroad is that it is much quicker. Compared to NHS waiting times in the UK anyway, I think UK private times are probably very similar. But for example, when we were waiting for our NHS referral, we were told it could be up to 48 weeks at least minimum to be able to get a consultation, whereas with our clinic abroad, we had our consultation pretty much straight away and we were seen within 2 months of getting the ball rolling, and here we are. I am now 25 weeks pregnant. If I was still waiting for the NHS, I don't think I would have even had my consultation yet. So that was a really big thing for us, that we didn't have to wait, because when you're on this infertility journey, waiting, you just don't want to be doing that, because it's more than likely you have been waiting an awful long time anyway. Okay, so moving on to the cons of doing IVF abroad. The first one is the language barrier. Now, this will completely depend on which country you do decide to go to, which clinic you decide to go to. Personally, our clinic, the language barrier wasn't really an issue. I'm quite hard of hearing anyway, and I sometimes struggle to understand what English people are saying in the UK. So going abroad, I think I was always going to struggle a little bit, and throw in the anxiety and the nerves of doing everything as well. I don't think I was really processing what they were saying to me properly, but it was never an issue. And overall their communication was really good, but that could be a potential con. Okay, the second con to doing IVF abroad, and this would probably be the deal breaker for some people, is that you only get the face-to-face support whilst you're out there. So before you have the egg retrieval and the transfer, you're kind of on your own in your own country. You're having to pay for private scans yourself, private blood yourself, and send all that information over, instead of if you were in the UK clinic would be doing that for you. Obviously you would still have to pay for it, but at least it would be kind of all kept in one place, and you would get to know the people in that clinic, and you would be more familiar with the clinic that you were using, whereas we didn't see our clinic until we were ready to go and have the eggs harvested. So that could be a potential con. That also applies for when you then come back into the UK. So if you did do IVF in the UK, your UK clinic would then do your betas, would do your scans if you did fall pregnant, and then you would graduate, as it is called in the fertility world, from your clinic. Whereas when you do IVF abroad, once you have your transfer, you go home, and that's kind of it really. They do keep in contact with you. They want to know, obviously, if you did conceive. They do want to know how your 12-week scan went, and then they want to know, when the birth happens as well. But any scans, any follow-ups after the transfer, you are kind of left on your own. So yeah, that definitely could be a potential con. Okay, another potential con of doing IVF abroad is that you don't get any help with injections. So I know that people that I've spoken to who have done IVF in the UK, they go and see a nurse, and the nurse shows them the injections, talks them through how to do it, gives you support. However, we couldn't do that because our clinic is abroad, and we weren't going to fly over there just to figure out how to do injections. I think we could have maybe contacted someone somehow to be able to show us, but we just basically followed a YouTube video, which was a nurse showing you. So essentially the same thing, but again, it's not very personal. So it does feel a little bit disconnected, and you do feel a bit like, ooh, I'm not sure if I am 100% doing this right. So again, that didn't faze us. The pros obviously outweighed the cons for us, but that could definitely be a potential con. Another con for doing IVF abroad is that you have to be away from home. So if you were wanting to keep the fact that you are doing IVF private, which some of you might want to, that would be really tricky. We couldn't keep it private because we have a dog and we have a cat. We were away for 10 days. We needed someone to have them. I mean, we could have, white lied and said we were just going on holiday. But with how it fell with me, I was actually missing time at my job, so it wouldn't have worked. They needed to know, and we weren't fussed about people knowing anyway. We told them about our struggles before we even decided on doing IVF abroad. But that could definitely be a deal breaker for some couples that are going through infertility and they don't want to tell anybody and they want to keep it to themselves. So yes, that could be a definite con. The final con for doing IVF abroad is that everything is virtual until you get over there. So you can't visit the clinic unless you want to make a special journey out there to get a feel for it. You don't get to meet your consultant in person. It's all just over email or potentially over Skype. So again, that could be a potential con for some people. So they were my pros and cons for doing IVF abroad. They were the main ones anyway. I'm sure there are plenty more. If you have any other pros or cons from your own experiences, feel free to pop them down below and I'll see if I agree with you and actually have just forgotten to include them in this video. But I hope that this was helpful. My email is in my bio, and obviously there is my Instagram as well, so please feel free to contact me if you would like to ask any questions. I am happy to help and talk the ear off anyone about IVF, because it is just an absolute miracle. So I hope that was helpful. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and it was helpful, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content. I do have other IVF videos. I am documenting my pregnancy journey, and I will be documenting nursery progress and house progress as well. But I will see you in the next video.